Christine Dunbar from SpeechModification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent Training. Welcome to our Word of the Day series, where I've been taking your requests for words you'd like help to pronounce correctly in American English. Today's request was for the word conversation, and I'm happy to cover this word because I often hear a slightly unusual error pattern for this word, and it's one that doesn't matter too much for being understood, but for those of you who are looking to have very accurate and very American pronunciation, it's a good word to look at. If you have a word you'd like to see covered in this series, do feel free to leave that in the comments for this video or any of my videos. So in the word conversation, we have second to last syllable stress. That means the A is long and the other syllables are shorter. And this is a typical rule for American English, even though we have a great variety of how we stress syllables in words. Often the penultimate syllable or the next to last syllable gets the stress, especially in these longer words like conversation, da-da-da-da, that second to last syllable gets the stress. And I can tell that because it has the clear A sound, the clear A vowel in conversation. And watch out for A, that you make sure that you make two sounds. It's a diphthong, A. So I'm tense and then I relax. In conversation, that syllable, you may or may not hold it for a really long time, but in general, when I'm saying words like name or change, I will hear the tendency for people to use a single vowel. It'll sound more like name or change, and you really want to lengthen and relax and go into that lax vowel. Name, change, conversation. I'll underline that to show the length. And then the letters C-O-N in conversation say the letter O says the ah sound. So we often, words that begin with an O in an unstressed syllable, they may have a schwa sound like they could have an O sound or they could have an ah sound. In this word, I think conversation probably has secondary stress on the first syllable, so it uses that clear vowel ah. Watch out that you're not saying something more O-like. So thinking about that as conversation. Then I have another error that I often hear in conversation is that this the ER sound might get a little bit too relaxed. Because it's not stressed, it's not important in this word, you might be saying this more like conversation, conva. And you really want to make sure you still have that tight back R, conversation, conver, because in American speech, the letter R is always going to have an sound. We always use the tense R. So conver. If the R is what gives you trouble in this word, start with the R. Try versation, conversation. Build your word around the R, because for many, in general, in connected speech, the R tends to dictate what happens around it. In this case, the R is unstressed and unimportant, and that therefore all the harder to get it correct. So conversation. And then this letter S in conversation actually does say an S sound. And this was the hidden pattern that I mentioned in the beginning, where I often hear people saying this with more of a Z sound, conversation, particularly people from India, Indian English speakers. It has something to do with how in your dialect and in your native languages, the S and Z sounds are treated in the middle of words. So watch out for a number of words that have the letter S in the middle and actually do say the S sound, like conversation. This is also true for Spanish speakers and people from a few other language backgrounds as well. When I look in the dictionary, I'll see that there is the symbol S if the letter says the S sound, and there will be the symbol Z if the letter says the Z sound. So not only do we need to watch for that for letter S at the ends of words, but also in the middle, making sure that we know whether it's an S or Z. Again, as I said in the beginning, if I say conversation, people will know what I'm saying. There's not a different word for that, but they'll also notice something's a little off with my pronunciation of the word. So if that's your trouble, and you may find it hard to change it, because once I start that word, my habit takes over and my mouth just wants to finish it the way I've always said it. So you might start with the S to help you with that, like say, sation, conversation, practicing trying to make sure that it stays an S rather than a Z sound. And then lastly, the last syllable of conversation is just our usual TION ending, the short and reduced shun, where I almost have no vowel. There is a little bit of a vowel schwa there, but I'm moving right from the SH to the M as quickly as possible. Shun, sation, conversation. Once I can say conversation by itself, I want to start using it in some short phrases so that it comes out with my new pattern, with my correct pronunciation, easily and fluently in my everyday speech. So let's have a conversation about what's been going on with you. I had a conversation with a friend the other day. It was a long phone conversation. Okay, thanks so much for the request for this word conversation and for all of the wonderful requests you've been leaving in the comments, also your questions and your support. It's very appreciated. Thank you to the channel members who have joined my channel, and I look forward to seeing you in our Sunday members-only question and answer class. If that's something you're interested in taking part in and learning more about, you can click the join button on this video or anywhere on my channel and check out the membership options. Thank you also to those of you who've subscribed to the channel. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to do that so that you can see when I'm live and when I've uploaded new videos for you. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow in our Word of the Day class, as well as on Friday in our question and answer class that's open to everyone. I'm Christine Dunbar from SpeechModification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. SpeechModification.com. Bye guys. Thank you and see you tomorrow.